The dust settles, but the silence is heavier than any explosion. Where the Antarctic ice shelf once stood, a chasm now yawns, a wound gouged into the planet itself. From its depths, something stirs. It is not the lumbering beast that first broke the ice. It is something older, something primal. Rex Magnus, the giant Tyrannosaurus, has fully awakened. He stands, a colossus of scale and muscle, eclipsing the jagged peaks of ice that remain. His hide is a tapestry of ancient scars, each one a story of a battle fought before humanity learned to walk upright. He takes a breath, a deep, cavernous inhalation that seems to draw the very air from the sky. And then, he roars. It is not a sound. It is a force of nature. The first roar. It rips across the dead continent, a shockwave of pure, untamed power. The sky, already choked with ash and storm clouds, convulses. The winds bend to his will, spiraling into a vortex of fury around him. This is not an animal's cry. It is a declaration, a king reclaiming a long-lost throne. Across the globe, every seismic sensor screams. Satellites in low orbit shudder as the atmospheric disturbance washes over them. In the Global Defense Command Center, 1,000 miles from the chaos, the mood is grim. General Rail stands before the main holodisplay, his face a mask of hardened resolve. The screen shows a world map, a blooming red anomaly at the South Pole. Report, Rail's voice is gravel. An analyst, young and pale, speaks without looking away from her console. General seismic activity is off the charts. Atmospheric pressure has dropped to unprecedented levels around the target zone. We're tracking a sound wave. It's circling the globe. What is the entity doing? Rail asks, his eyes fixed on the satellite feed. The image flickers, showing the gargantuan form of Rex Magnus beginning to move. He takes a step, and the continent trembles. Another step, and a mile-long fissure cracks across the ice. He is not wandering, he is marching. He's moving north. Sir, the analyst confirms. Trajectory indicates he'll cross the Southern Ocean and make landfall on the Australian continent within 12 hours. Rail clenches his jaw. We can't let him reach a populated area. The destruction, it would be absolute. He turns to his weapons officer, his eyes burning with cold fire. Commander, what are our options? The commander steps forward. Conventional forces are useless. General, the energy readings from this thing, they're off the scale. Our only viable option is orbital. Rail nods slowly. It's a desperate gambit. The rods from God Orbital Kinetic Bombardment System was a weapon of last resort, designed to shatter entire bunker complexes or divert asteroids. Using it on a living creature was unheard of. It's not just a creature, is it, Commander? Rail says, almost to himself. The display zooms in on Rex Magnus, his colossal head turning as if sensing their observation from space. No, sir. The commander replies grimly. It's an extinction event on 2 legs. Rail's decision is made. Target the entity. I want every kinetic impactor we have in range to be reportaged. Operation Hammerdown is a go. Fire all satellites. Bring the beast down. Thousands of miles above tungsten rods, each the size of a telephone pole, detached from their orbital platforms. They glow white-hot as they plummet through the atmosphere, silent harbingers of unimaginable force. On the ground, Cale is watching. He, along with the surviving members of the research team, had been evacuated to a temporary military outpost on the coast of Tasmania. He stands on a windswept cliff, binoculars pressed to his eyes, staring south across the churning ocean. Even from this distance, he can feel it, a low, persistent vibration that hums in his bones. The world feels wrong. Suddenly, the sky ignites. A dozen brilliant streaks of light spear down from the heavens, converging on a single point on the horizon. The impacts are silent at this range, but the flashes are blinding, turning the dark, stormy sky into a brief, artificial noon. Back in the GDC, the room holds its breath. The satellite feed is awash of static and overexposure from the kinetic impacts. Impact confirmed. The analyst calls out. Multiple direct hits. A hesitant cheer begins to ripple through the command center. Did they do it? Could it be that simple? Rail stares at the screen, unmoving. Wait, he commands. Give me thermal. The display shifts. Through the dissipating clouds of vaporized ice and rock, a heat signature blazes. It's not just there, it's growing, intensifying, burning hotter than any of the impacts. General, the analyst's voice trembles. His energy readings, they're spiking. He's absorbing the kinetic energy. On the feed, the smoke clears. Rex Magnus stands tall amidst a cratered, molten landscape. The tungsten rods lie twisted and melted around his feet like discarded toys. He wasn't just unharmed, he was empowered. He turns his massive head slowly, his gaze lifting towards the heavens, as if looking directly at the satellites that had just attacked him. And Kale, watching through his binoculars, sees it happen. Rex Magnus's eyes, once the color of ancient amber, now burn with a malevolent, furious crimson. He's not an animal, Kale whispers to the roaring wind, his voice filled with a terror that borders on religious awe. He's a god in flesh. A new roar echoes from the horizon, and this one is different. It is not a declaration, it is a promise of retribution. Rex Magnus lowers his head and charges, his pace doubling, his movements now filled with terrifying, intelligent rage. The GDC is in chaos, alarms blare, he's accelerating. Sir, he'll make landfall in under 6 hours. What else do we have? Rail barks. Nothing, sir. Nothing that can stop him. Every bullet, every bomb, only feeds his fury. Kale lowers his binoculars, the truth crashing down on him with more force than any orbital weapon. They were trying to kill a storm with bullets. They were trying to fight a geological event with tanks. This wasn't a monster to be slain. It was a fundamental force of the planet, awakened and enraged. He turns and runs back towards the makeshift research tent, past the panicked soldiers. The myths, the ancient stories the Ice Core data had hinted at. The warnings from a civilization lost to time. They hadn't been fighting a monster. They had been fighting him. And they lost. He frantically begins pulling up his research data, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. He cross-references geological records with fragments of ancient mythology. Sumerian, Babylonian, Akkadian, all spoke of a great cataclysm, a war of gods. They all spoke of a primordial chaos dragon, a mother of creation and destruction, Tiamat. The name feels like a thunderclap in his mind. The legends said Tiamat was defeated, imprisoned, not destroyed. If Rex Magnus, a being of such impossible power, was real, then maybe she was too. Humanity's weapons were not just failing, they were making the threat stronger. They were trying to solve a mythological problem with technological solutions. It was like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. As Rex Magnus's crimson-eyed rage propels him ever closer to an unsuspecting world, Kale realizes a terrifying truth. To stop a god, you don't need a bigger gun. You need another god. And he had to find her. The search for Rex Magnus was over. The search for Tiamat had just begun. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. The War of the Primordials is just getting started, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance. If you're as hooked as we are, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe or follow, and ring the bell so you don't miss a single moment of the epic saga to come. We'll see you next time.